Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a game that I had in the Dallas, the Tier VI American Light Cruiser. I'm divvied up with my buddy Puddin', and he's playing in the Icarus, the upcoming British Tier VI destroyer. He is of course a super tester for those of you out there that are not aware, and we are playing some domination here on the map Hotspot. For my captain skills, I have Priority Target, Expert Marksman, Adrenaline Rush, Superintendent, IFHE, and Concealment Expert. And for my equipment, I have Main Armaments Mod 1, Steering Gears Modification, AA Guns Mod 2, and Rudder Shift Modification. So, the Dallas here in World of Warships. What do you need to know about this Tier 6 American Light Cruiser? Well, it's a ship that I immensely enjoyed the small grind that I had on it to get to the Helena at Tier 7. And my stats really do reflect the enjoyment that I had in this boat. I played 12 games with an 83% win rate. I had about 93,000 average damage and about 2 frags a game. And I really liked the playstyle that this ship possesses and gives you to the player. Now, of course, American cruisers in general, be it they are the light versions or the heavy versions, they take a very skilled captain to be able to utilize them to their maximum potential because they're not the best open water gunfighters. They obviously have the big arcs and the slow shell speeds. Obviously, they, at least at the high tiers, they come equipped with radar. So you find yourself trying to maneuver around next to islands and go bow on and put yourself in positions where you're trying to get as close to the enemy team as possible without putting yourself in a really bad spot where you're going to get nuked, and then utilizing your pretty good DPM and in some cases ridiculous DPM to be able to deal lots of damage and help out your team with good AA suites. And the Dallas kind of starts the trend with the light cruisers here at Tier 6. It only has 28,300 hit points, which is on the very low end for a Tier 6 cruiser in general. However, the armament is pretty good. You get 10 152mm guns with 2 turrets at the front and 2 at the rear, and these guns have an 8.5 second reload, which is pretty competitive at Tier 6, and with IFHE, they are able to do a very large amount of damage. Now, this is of course nothing new with 152mm guns, but you have a pretty solid amount of DPM on a cruiser that excels when ships get closer and closer to you, and you can see the first 2 salvos on the Baltimore, over 4,000 and over 3,000, with every single shell hitting, doing a penetrating roll, which is really great. And I also managed to get a fire on the Gneisenau. And you can see here the DPM, it's nothing ridiculous, it's nothing crazy, but it does get the job done. Now these guns only have a range of 14.3 kilometers, so you really do have to get used to, you know, I'd say about 10 kilometers and under is your breadbasket zone. That's where you really want to be dealing a lot of your damage from. 11 to 14 kilometers, you know, you can still make it work, and you know, even hitting shots at 14.3 kilometers, the max range, at least on like slow-moving battleships or cruisers that are bow on, isn't that difficult. But, you know, getting into these kinds of distances, granted, Puddin' did lay a smokescreen for me, but the point still remains that these kind of ranges are where the American cruisers really do excel at. Now, the AA suite on the Dallas is okay. You're not going to get to see an example of that in this gameplay, but I did manage over 3 planes killed per game on average in this ship, and with defensive fire, it is pretty good. You also have, of course, as you can see at the bottom, access to a fighter aircraft as well. The maneuverability on the Dallas is very good. It's on par with a lot of the other American light cruisers tier for tier. Excellent rudder shift, pretty good turning circle. These American cruisers have always been nimble, and really, except for the Buffalo at Tier 9, the somewhat new American heavy cruiser. Other than that, pretty good maneuverability, and then the concealment is also pretty competitive at Tier 6 as well at about 10.2, 10.3 kilometers. You're not going to outspot stuff like the Leander or the Perth, but it still provides you a pretty decent amount of concealment to work with. And then, of course, with the consumables, you also have access to hydroacoustic search, which is pretty new, at least for the American light cruisers. The American heavies do not have access to that, so, you know, once you, with the hydroacoustic, it wants you to try and get even, you know, close. It's a good thing to do, you know, being able to get into good positions behind islands, relatively close to the cap, get your hydro up, you know, so if enemy torpedoes come in, you're going to get plenty of warning, and then you just sit there and let your DPM and at the high tiers your radar help the team out and go to work. Anyway, getting to the gameplay here for the rest of this replay, I do manage to get the kill here on the Gneisenau, that Tier 7 German BB with some armor piercing. And if you've lost track of the damage counter, that was one of the quickest 62Ks that I have had in quite some time. That was a lot of good RNG with the fires on the Baltimore and the Gneisenau. Of course, I did manage to get a lot of good penetration damage with the high explosive shells as well. And I am shooting now at the enemy Benson. One thing I did forget to mention, this is Tier 8 matchmaking, by the way, anyway. So the game that you're going to see here, you know, this kind of matchmaking you should be expecting a bit more often than you'd really like to. And, you know, I don't want to sit here and get into you know, a couple minutes talking points about the matchmaker. But, you know, being in Tier 8, in a Tier 6 ship, it's just something that unfortunately you're going to have to get used to. So hopefully you guys are able to see what I'm doing here. You know, trying to stay at arm's distance away from the biggest threats and really focus on the ships that are in the most vulnerable positions. Now you're going to see right here, this is some American Cruiser 101 right here. I'm moving into a position where that island that's just off my starboard bow is going to put me in between the Arizona and my ship. So now I go undetected. Now we're going to go into the free cam here so I can just show you guys exactly what I'm talking about with the angles. You can see here that the Arizona is well behind the island, so he does not have line of sight on me. Neither does the Normandy. And then you can see with my range at 14.3, it does not extend nearly far enough over to D to be able to get detected every time that I pull the trigger. So right now I am just farming this Arizona from complete safety. There is really nothing that I can think of off the top of my head that would be able to spot me. Even if the Arizona had his spotting aircraft up, I'm pretty sure I'm far enough away where I don't have to worry about it. So I'm just going to continue to lob my HE right into the middle of his ship. And there we go. I do manage to get another fire. Fire number 10 of the game. Like I mentioned earlier, the fire RNG in this game is pretty nice, but I'm going to take full advantage of it. Now, I finally do get detected as the Normandy does make his push around the corner, but he is looking pretty bad right now. As I do get the front turrets out, the Leon in front of me does manage to get his out a little bit quicker, and he manages to pick up the kill. So, at the moment, things are looking okay. You can see that we do have a trio of battleships that are trying to defend C very valiantly over there, but they are going to go down because you can see that there's 3 enemy ships spotted and 2 unspotted, so it's a 3v5 over by the C objective, and it's not really looking good. So at this point, putting to myself, realized that we were going to have to go back and defend C. However, I'm a little torn at the moment because the enemy Arizona and Algerie are still over here. So what I'm going to try to do is put myself into a position where hopefully I'm going to be able to help our team get some kills on these 2 ships so that we can clear our flank completely. The Colorado does kill the Bismarck, which is nice. But unfortunately, in quick succession here, the Fuso and the Colorado do go down. So now the enemy team is going to be able to move freely into the sea cap, which is not good. However, the enemy Arizona did go down, so now it's just the Algerie. And right at this moment, this guy needs to get taken out. So like I said, that our flank can be completely secured, and then Putin and myself can focus over on the C objective. Putin wanted to go through, and you can see he is moving towards the middle. He's moving due east. He wanted to go over there to get some vision. Like I said, I'm getting ready to go back towards the sea cap. Now, you can see the Leon, the Miyoko, the Bismarck. They are all turning tail, and they are all going to come back and help me out, which is good. The enemy Gneisenau is moving on to C at the moment. But like I said, we do need to get the kill here on the Algerie. So shooting at range like this where he's running away, you see, I have to go and actually zoom out a little bit here because that Frenchie is moving so darn quickly. I did manage to get a fire on his backside, which is really good. Now I'm going to aim really high here. I do not want this guy to get away. He's at about 5,000 hit points. The next set of shells fallen down range, and I was able to land a pretty nice salvo right there of about 1,400, and hopefully this next one will be able to get the kill here. He really does need to die. Shells fall in, and there we go. Noodle Boy gets his second kill of the game, about up to 100,000 points of damage. And now with that being the case, I can focus my full and undivided attention onto C. You can see also that the friendly Bismarck has since made a nice about face, and he's going to go and get in secondary gun battery range. But then at this point, Putin decided, you know what, I'm going to go up to B. Of course, the Helena does not have access to the radar consumable, so he's going to go get on the B cap. It's 458 to 353. However, we do have a 2-ship lead, so, you know, barring some very unfortunate things, we should be able to take care of this game relatively easily. I'm going to focus my full attention here now at the enemy Gneisenau. And you can see here the DPM just going to town on this guy, getting some good hits right in the superstructure area. There we go, 6 pens for about 2,800. German battleships in particular are excellent candidates for your IFHE shells because, you know, the superstructure on a lot of them is just so darn big that when you get those meaty salvos that land right in there, you're going to be able to deal lots of damage. Now, you can also see that I've been playing with my speed and my angling quite a bit, and it's in no small part due to the excellent maneuverability of the Dallas, which I have already mentioned, that allows you to be able to, you know, pull off these kind of stunts without too much of an issue. And I really didn't lose all that many hit points right there from the Gneisenau. Granted, we all know that the Gneisenau only has 6 guns, and it's not the most accurate battleship in the game by any means. But I was able to dodge most of the shells that came my way. And it seems that the Dallas has decided to switch his attention over to the friendly Bismarck for some reason. So I got a couple of salvos off at him, but now I'm going to help the Bismarck out once again here with the Gneisenau. I do get a pretty decent hit on the Dallas instead of fire as I crack 111,000 points of damage, which is nice. And now we're going to continue to shoot downrange at the Gneisenau. Now, this is very important. I do pick up Confederate. And right now, I do have Admiral Halsey in my ship. So with Adrenaline Rush kicking in, and with Admiral Halsey's Confederate giving you a bonus to your reload, I'm now shooting at 6.3 seconds. And I can't believe I totally forgot to mention this all the way until now. But getting Admiral Halsey in your American light cruisers is great because for me, I average a Confederate about once every 7 games or so. So with that being the case, the reload on this thing is now down to a very quick amount. And if there were more enemy ships left, and we do, or if we did need to have quite a larger carry, having this extra DPM is very important, and it's very nice to have. So, yeah, Admiral Halsey kicking in is doing wonders for me right now as I'm switching to some high explosive here against the Dallas. After my next armor-piercing broadside, puts him down to 542 hit points. Hopefully I'll be able to snag the kill here as the shells just go over the touch of the island. And on 109 hit points, I get my 3rd frag of the game, going up to 121,000 points of damage. And at this point, there's only 2 enemy ships left, and the Helena should be getting taken out here relatively soon. He has to deal with an enemy hipper. And of course, I'm moving in position as well as the Bismarck to get shots on him as well. So his days are numbered, and now I'm going to go move over and get onto our home cap and, you know, wrap this game up for our team. So, what have you guys noticed throughout the course of this replay? Utilizing the terrain and smoke, of course, in combination to be able to deal large amounts of damage from stealth or concealment. Not really putting my ship in a position to get focused down. And that's something that's very important. In your mid-tier light cruisers where you just don't have a lot of hit points, you never, ever, ever want to be the focus of the enemy team. And I'd say only losing permanently about 8,000 hit points and dealing 121 in return, well, I don't know what a good ratio of damage dealt compared to damage received is, but right there, that is about a 13-to-1 ratio, which is pretty darn good if you ask me. So, yeah, I just think this was my best overall game in the ship. I did have a couple more with more damage, but this one just really showcases the Dallas in its entirety. You also saw the good maneuverability. You know, it's just a fun ship to play. I really enjoyed it. And I know that I'm an amazing player at the game, like, let's be honest. And I know that I make pretty much every ship workable for me, but I really did enjoy this ship. Like, I am honestly considering buying this thing back just to have it to play around with at Tier 6, because it's just a boatload of fun. No really dumb warships, pun intended, I guess. But anyway, my buddy Putin managed to sneak his way over to the decap as well. That guy's been, I think that's going to be his 3rd base capture of the game. The enemy Fubuki does get spotted at 8.8 kilometers, getting some shells going down range. I do manage to hit him. Putin is going to get his 3rd solo base cap of the game, which is absolutely hilarious. I don't remember how much damage he did in this one, but it wasn't a lot. He asked me to hold my fire on the Fubuki so he could get a kill, so I decided to do so, and unfortunately he whiffed the shot. And as I do pick up the assisted base capture, the Fubuki burns out, and that ends the game here on Hotspot. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 407,000 credits received and 11,000 total experience earned. This was my first win in the day in the Dallas. I picked up Confederate, dealing 123,000 points of damage off of 232 shell hits. I sank 3 enemy ships, set 12 fires, had 4 defense ribbons, and 1 assisted base capture. Taking a look at the team score, 2,217 base XP in a Tier 8 game is certainly a great result, and as I've always said before, anytime that you do over 2k base XP, you had a very significant influence on the outcome of the game. Taking a look at the detailed report, 74k with the HE and 40,000 with the fires that I set. I did mention earlier that I did get very lucky, I'd say, with the RNG on my fires during this match, but the Dallas is a pretty decent fire starter, and if you're able to shoot non-stop for large portions of the game like I was able to, then you are going to have, of course, a lot more fires that have the chance to be set. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this replay. Again, this is a ship that I really enjoyed playing, and I will definitely be considering buying it back. And also, if you guys would like to see more of the low to mid-tier content, please let us know. I know that historically those videos haven't gotten the kind of view numbers that we've hoped for, just because, you know, a lot of people really enjoy the tiers 7 and up. But if you'd like to see more of this, please let us know. Anyway, this is the Sneaky Snake for BIA World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.